Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking Donnie and Nora for nominating me. I'm not nervous. I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me, and I want to congratulate the rest of the inductees in this year's class and their families. I would also like to thank President Murray for supporting the concept of the Hall of Fame. It's a win-win situation for the college. Everybody gains, not because I was inducted, but I think it's a wonderful thing for the college. The athletic program gains, the publicity, the PR you get from it is wonderful, and I think our Alumni Association will gain a lot from this also. I'd also like to thank another president that's here tonight, Bob McLaughlin, for giving me the opportunity to fulfill a dream of being in charge of an athletic program. The real Hall of Fame member is sitting here. She should be up here, not me, and that's my wife. When I started this job, I was never home. I was either coaching or at a home contest or trying to get a transfer agreement for physical education. Maybe I was never home, and she's the one that kept the home fires burning, took care of the kids, took care of the house, took care of the finances, and she held it all together, and I can never thank her enough for that. I'd also like to thank my children for putting up with me. Again, I was never home, and if it's one thing I regret in my career, it's I had time for everybody else's kids but my own. I missed a lot of ball games. I missed a lot of dance recitals because I was always at the college, and I've apologized to my children several times for that. And I always tell these young athletic directors today to don't do that. Make sure you find time for your families and your children, because all of a sudden they're in high school and you've missed the whole deal. And if it's one thing I regret, it's that. I want to say thank you to some people that usually don't get thank yous, and that's my support staff that was with me all through the growing years, the growing pains. Marie Dennison, secretary. Sandy Lonas, my first equipment manager, and she's still employed here at the college. Charlie LeQuay was my Mr. Everything. He did everything. He lined fields, cleaned uniforms. He kept score. He even coached a couple years for us. I promised my wife I wouldn't tell any stories, but I got to tell you just one story. I was walking by the gymnasium one afternoon, and I hear this help, like a little animal or something hurt. And I said, so I walked in the gym, and there's Charlie. He's up on one of those hoists. He's trying to put up a banner. And I said, Charlie, what's the matter? He says, it won't come down. I said, what won't come down? This thing won't come down. Go get the maintenance people so they bring me down. Well, I didn't go get the maintenance people. I went and got everybody I could find in the hallway to come into the gym. Then I went and found a camera and took a picture. And if anybody's around afterwards and they want to see Charlie hung up in that I got him right here. Last but not least, I want to thank Bonnie Fletcher. Bonnie was my secretary for several years. And I always said that she was the athletic director, and I signed my name. She was so efficient, so faithful. And, I would be away at a game, or I wouldn't be on campus, and we'd have a cancellation. I'd call Bonnie, and I'd say, Bonnie, was the game canceled? Yeah. Did you call the officials? Done. Did you call the other team? Done. Did you call the bus company? Done. She was just fantastic. And, Bonnie, I can't thank you enough for everything you did for me over the years. It's tough to put 40 years into 5 minutes. I'm supposed to have 5 minutes, but what are they going to do, fire me? They've already done that through 2 or 3 times. Brief history. I did come in 70. We did have sports here, by the way. I didn't initiate the sports program. We did have sports. Gary Ruff was a basketball coach. Ray Lenarsic was a men's softball coach. Frank Menepes was coaching cross country. Bill Pells was coaching skiing and tennis, I believe. And they had a program. We actually had a league, too, the Northeastern Collegiate Conference. And that was made up of 3 new junior colleges, us, Fulton, Montgomery, and Adirondack. And then we had a conglomeration of other schools thrown in there just to make a league. And it was Albany College of Pharmacy, Albany Junior College. We even had La Salette Seminary in that league. And we belonged to that league for about 4 years, and Ernie Fierro, who was the athletic director of Fulton Montgomery, and I realized we weren't going to get into any regional contests if we kept playing these schools. We needed to do something else. So we started the Mountain Valley Collegiate Conference, and the Mountain Valley Collegiate Conference was made up of all brand new junior colleges. There was Herkimer, Fulton Montgomery, Adirondack, Schenectady, Clinton, Columbia Green, and North Country. And that was the start. We still have the Mountain Valley Collegiate Conference today, but it's been all revamped and changed. I have to smile whenever I think of the athletic program, because when we first started out, we had 4 or 5 sports, and nobody would play us. They wouldn't play us because we weren't good enough. And why play us? Because if we beat them, it would have been an upset. And if they beat us, it wouldn't have meant anything. So nobody would play us. And I had a smile because 23 years later, when we had 19 sports, they wouldn't play us, but for a different reason. They were afraid they were going to get beat. And that was a big... I've been asked several times, how did you build a successful program? The answer is very simple. Surround yourself with successful people. I was alone my first year in the factory. I did do a lot of driving that year. We had swimming in West Canada. We used the Frankfurt Hilltops. We used all the high schools for basketball games. I did more driving than teaching that year. The second year, we moved on our new campus, and we had our first 2 hires. And they were Jack Alofs, who's being inducted tonight, and truly deserves it, and Gene Galvin. Jack and Gene came in that second year. And I want to mention something about Gene. Gene Galvin was the one that actually built the women's program at the college. Gene came in and she coached volleyball, field hockey, basketball, and softball. And she was the women's athletic program at the college. Not only that, but something else people don't realize. The women were going through a transition from a league called the AIAW, which was their federation, into the NJCAA. And it was quite a transition going into the NJCAA. A lot of people were unsure if the women would be given a fair shake, or if they would be accepted in the NJCAA, would they be given the equivalent status as the men, so on and so forth. Jean was actually our first women's regional director, and she was very, very involved with the transition of that women's program from the AIAW to the NJCAA. And it's a very strong program today, and it's because of all the things that she did. Besides Jack and Gene, who really were the foundation for the whole program, their professionalism and so on, we also had some great coaches after that. I'm just going to read down a few. These coaches brought us to the next level. We actually didn't get our first national championship until '87, so it was like 16, 17 years, and it was a slow building process before we got some respect. But some of these coaches are Terry Teasel, Sharon Howe, Perry Nizzi, Scott Barnhart, Paul Wareham, Hank Testa, Paul Mance, Steve Law, Bob Dorrance. All of these people brought us to the next level. And we're still reaping the harvest today, because many of the coaches that we have